Welcome, everybody in. It's your host, DM Livingston Sporting News, welcoming you all into January the 12th, Friday, end of another week. Moving right along, midpoint of this month. Not too much was going on in sports last night. I'm realizing what Thursday is becoming. But before we get into what everybody wants to know about, we want to know about the NFL this weekend. We got to touch base in last night. I have to know if you've seen. Did you see the Boston Celtics? That is correct. The Boston Celtics get completely humiliated by the Milwaukee Bucks. Smash time. I'm talking about, no, this is no over-exaggeration because I'm a Miami Heat fan. I'm not trying to rub it in. At one point in time, it was a 25-0 run. Do you know how impossible it is to score 25 consecutive points and the other team not score? For goodness sakes, they have 5 players. Not one of them can score. It was ridiculous. It was 75-39 at halftime. 75-39. The last time I seen 75-39, I was playing 2K. And I only have it on All-Star. So that tells you where I'm at with it, with my 2K. And apparently, that's where Boston is at. When it comes to playing the other top-tier teams, they do fine with the underbelly of the league, but when it's mano-a-mano, stuff like this happens. It's no bueno. It's no good. You're not winning an NBA championship like this. Now, I'm not saying that the Chicago Bulls in the Jordan era, and I'm pretty sure the Kobe Shaq team had an off night. I doubt they got pumped like that, but it happens. Celtic Nation, no need to panic. We'll just knock you off in the playoffs when we see you. Moving right along, the only other thing that was going on last night, because, like I said, N.H.L. has taken over Thursday night. It is completely in their possession. No more NFL football, no more college football, and we get a handful of NBA games on Thursday now. So we had to go across the pond for a little action over in Paris. Yes, Brooklyn Nets, Cleveland Cavs. Not quite sure why the NBA would want to showcase those two teams. Not disparaging, I'm just saying. But Donovan Mitchell sure knew how to take advantage of the prime time spotlight, even if it was way over there. He dropped 45. I'm telling you, these players get amped. I'm telling you, AD started it with the 41 and 11. Tatum followed it up with the 45. Here comes Mitchell with his 45. Someone's dropping 50 tonight. That just came to me fresh. That's fresh and live. I'm writing it down. You write it down as well. Someone's going for a 50-piece tonight. It's Friday. Someone's going for a 50-piece tonight. Get with me on Monday, guys. Someone's dropping a 50-piece tonight. Other than that, let's segue. Let's segue away from the NBA. And let's get into the N.H.L. I'm not going to fight against it. I do not want to wake up every single Friday with limited information for you, my people. So, let's get involved with this N.H.L. stuff. If you're from Connecticut and you don't have a team, I understand. It's because we don't have a team. But we used to have a team. That team, the Hartford Whalers. They are now the Carolina Hurricanes. So you can go 2 routes. You can say, forget them. They left us. We don't need them. Or we can say, yes, we do. Because we don't have a professional team. And that's the closest thing we had. So, I rock with Carolina. So I was doing some research last night, guys. We're doing pretty good. But I need to know who am I gunning for. So, I'm inviting you all. On Thursdays, when there's nothing else to watch, if you want to get a little hockey action in, rock with us, Carolina Hurricanes. We're not the best of the best. We're far from the worst. We're middle of the pack. We're the Bengals. Can't get over the hump. But we'll get to the chip. Can't get over the hump. So, I've been looking at it. It's pretty much the metropolitan teams. It's talking to you Rangers. I'm talking to you Islanders. And apparently I have beef in Florida. I'm going to get to the bottom of this N.H.L. Metropolitan Division. Don't worry, because I see what they're doing. That's all we got, guys. That's all we got on Thursday's hockey. But today's Friday. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of NBA games to watch. I know. It's NFL. We really don't care about the NBA right now because we have to figure out who's going to win the Super Bowl for the next couple of weeks. Then the All-Star game. Then we'll get fully immersed in the world of the NBA. But this evening, we do have a few games. We do have a few games worth at least checking in. If you have the time to check in on Friday night, hopefully you're doing a lot more fun things besides watching these teams that I'm about to tell you about. So we have the Golden State Warriors. They'll be traveling against the Chicago Bulls in a game of Dynasties that used to be. Yes. I mean, I think it's apparent that Golden State dynasty is over. Am I the last on that? Or am I the first on that? Or do we all know that? Right? They're heading to face the Bulls. And then in the nightcap, we have New Orleans, which I like. I like New Orleans. I don't think Zion is going to stay there, but I like New Orleans. They're going to travel Denver. And for those that know me, knowing that I'm a Miami Heat fan, you know how I feel about the Denver Nuggets. So we'll just leave it at that. So that's the two games in the NBA that I would watch. I'm not going to watch either one of them. Because I think all four of those teams, they leave much to desire at this particular point in time, especially you, Golden State. But how's everybody doing? It's been a long week here in Connecticut. I'm so confused with the weather. We had a snowstorm. We had 8 inches of snow 4 days ago. It was 45 degrees yesterday. I was hot with my jacket on. It was hoodie weather all day yesterday. So, don't really know what's going on. Hopefully it's not the end of the world because I'm really getting the hang of this and I like meeting with you guys every day, Monday through Friday. So, hopefully the Earth will still be here because we got a lot of sports to talk about. This can't be it. And plus, my Redskins haven't won the Super Bowl yet. Yeah, and I know what they're called now, but that's what I said. And you heard me say it. Anyways, once again, falling off the tracks. I have to finish my coffee before I get with you guys. I'm really OCD. All over the place with it. But I always come back full circle. And I bring it back to the point. This weekend. Before we get to the NFL. Guys, I know what you want. You want these picks. You want to know. But there's other things in the sports world. And not everybody that listens likes the NFL. Believe it or not. So I'm here for you all. So before we get to the picks, which I know you guys are with bated breath awaiting, I got to tell you something. Especially for my gamblers. Gamblers. Listen up, gamblers. If you want to upset pick this weekend, money back guaranteed. Probably not. If you want to lock upset in the college basketball world, do your research. Don't just take my word on it and blindly bet. But look at that Houston going into TCU. Yes, the number 2 ranked Houston. I don't know. Cougars? Whatever. Forget Houston. And full disclosure, UConn used to play in the AAC and I really don't like Houston. This is not why I'm saying that. The reason why I'm saying that is because that TCU team almost knocked off Kansas. I know what you're going to say. Wait a minute. You just told us Kansas lost yesterday. How good is Kansas? Kansas is good. Okay? Kansas is good. All right? No one goes into Kansas and almost knocks them off. And they're a terrible team. Keep an eye on that. Houston number 2. Because all week, top 10 teams have been falling. I think they're the final piece to fall. So my gamblers, check out that TCU Houston game. I'm liking that in the upset. And then on Sunday afternoon, UConn Huskies. Yes, good old-fashioned Big East bash clash of the Titans. Georgetown, no, AI is not walking through onto that court. But it's something about seeing that Georgetown and that UConn that just brings back the nostalgia of the 80s and the 90s when the Big East was the best conference on planet Earth. Way before the ACC. The ACC had Duke and UNC. That was it. The Big East sent 72 teams to the tournament every single year. Look it up if you don't believe me. It was about 9 or 10 teams. About 9 or 10 teams consistently went out of the Big East. So we can check that out. We should win. I'm getting nervous in conference play. But we should take care of Georgetown. Could we go back to back? I didn't go to the parade, guys. It was cold, respectfully, and I had to work. If we go back to back, I'm at the parade, guys. Would you come with me to the... If UConn wins back-to-back, wherever the parade is at, Livingston Sporting News, we're there live. Write it down. Mark it on the calendar. And the only other thing, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today, is Sunday night. Yes, in the midst of the NFL, we have a sneaky good basketball game. Those Clippers are traveling to Minnesota. Ironically enough, those Rams are traveling to Detroit. So there's going to be an invasion of the West Coast in the Midwest. on Sunday, and it's going to be pretty interesting. I think that's going to be the best game that nobody talks about or even pays attention to this weekend. That Clippers at Minnesota game. Check that out right there. But, guys, we're here. We have arrived at Super Wildcard weekend. A long NFL season is behind us. There are teams that are no longer playing, such as my Washington Commanders / Redskins / why do you guys hate me so much? So I'm going to let you guys all know who's going to win on the NFC side. Quick recap. AFC side, here are your locks. And however you feel about them, that is your right to feel. But I am telling you, write it down. Stone cold lock. Kansas City Chiefs knocking off Miami. It's too cold. It's just too cold. I believe in science. It's too cold. Miami, 3-7 all time, temperatures below 20 degrees. Next up, CJ Stroud is not losing to Cleveland. He did not have the season that he had to lose to Cleveland. Houston, write it down, lock it down. Now, this is the one I'm going to get pushed back on. But push back. Mike Tomlin and those Pittsburgh Steelers. Buffalo? They luckily won that game. Let's just be honest. They did everything in their power to give it away. Pittsburgh knocks off Buffalo. Now, here we go. NFC side. So, the Detroit Lions have been a feel-good story all year. The Detroit Lions, they represent the everyday man. The everyday man that's just trying to make it. And he has good years. He gets to certain points in his life where it seems like everything's going his way, and then he has years of just catastrophe, but he never gives up. He never quits. How do you root against a man like that? How do you root against a team like that? Very easily. When the quarterback that they used to have shows up with a team that won the Super Bowl like 2 years ago, that's when you root against them. Listen to me. I told you guys that the Rams were back. I didn't know about Nakua, so I'm not going to sit here in front. But I told you guys, we all forgot about the Rams. Everyone got so caught up. San Francisco, Philly, Dallas. I was telling everybody, yo, the Rams just won the Super Bowl. Hello, 2 years ago. Matt Stafford and them, they were just hurt. They're back. They're in the playoffs. Listen, everyone's 0-0. So what you did in the regular season, that doesn't matter. The Detroit Lions are 0-0. The Los Angeles Rams are 0-0. You got Matt Stafford. You got the Rams. Who are you picking? You're not picking the Rams. Moving on. I hate both of these teams. I don't know which team to go with first, so let me go with the one I'm going to say is going to lose. Take Tampa Bay. Don't pick Philadelphia. I have to pick Tampa Bay. I'm going to tell you why. It's not because I'm a Redskins fan. I didn't even pick Philadelphia to make the playoffs. Super Bowl hangover, I didn't even pick them to make the playoffs. I knew they were going to fall apart. I didn't know they were going to fall apart in the way they fell apart, but I knew they were going to fall apart. So how could I pick them now? I didn't even pick them to be in the playoffs. That's why I'm going with Tampa Bay. And I hate the Eagles. And lastly, but not leastly, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, he's about to apply that very same logic, and he's going to pick against the Cowboys. He's going to pick the Packers. No. Because I vow to you realness and no propaganda. I'm not pumping this propaganda that the Cowboys cannot get it done. I'm not going to pump that. But what I'm going to say is that they're not going to lose to the Packers. See, this is a perfect storm for Cowboy Nation to finally win the Super Bowl. Typically, a Green Bay team would come down and ruin everything, right? But this Green Bay team is just like a day early. Just a day. It's too soon. This is their window of... Now, if they trick it all up, then, they trick it all up. But the Cowboys, and please forgive me, Redskin Nation, hail to the Redskins, the Cowboys will beat the Packers. They could at least do that. So, recapping, your 6 winners this weekend is very simple. I'm going to run them down for you. We got Kansas City. We got Pittsburgh. We got Houston. Let's spin it around on the NFC side. You're going to take your Dallas, you're going to take your Rams, and you're going to take your Buccaneers. And there it is. I laid it down quite flat. Shout out to Big. So, Dale Livingston, it's your host. We got a long weekend ahead of us. I hope you guys win a little bit of money. I hope you guys have a little bit of fun. Life is rough. Life is tough. Life is hard. But before I get out of here, Monday is Martin Luther King Day. Now I'm not quite sure what pockets of the world. Is that a 3-day holiday? I don't know. But if you have a 3-day holiday, what I want you to do is just reflect for one moment on the power of sports. On the power of sports. We have differences. We don't like each other for whatever reason. But this is one thing I can promise you. I can promise you, as sure as the sky is blue when there's no clouds out. If I was in a room with a person, and for all intents and purposes, me and this person have nothing in common. Complete, total opposites. This person has probably already formed some type of judgment against me. And likewise, I may have already formed some type of prejudice against him. But I can promise you, if that man is a New York Mets fan, and that man remembers that Carlos Beltran did not swing that bat, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, me and that man are friends. I know that if this man is a Commanders fan and remembers RG3's knee falling off in the playoffs against Seattle, me and him been through something. We weren't there together, but we were there together. And that's what sports does for us all. It provides a platform for us all to experience something together. And that's the best way to experience it together. So, with that being said, I invite you all, join me next week. Let's have a fun, safe weekend. I'll see you guys all here on Monday. And as always, peace, peace.